I involuntarily hid behind the bushes when I saw a couple sitting on the bench at the back of the school kissing each other like there's no tomorrow, swallowing up the pain of witnessing my own best friend, Tyler, making out with the only man I've ever loved since I was a child. I couldn't help myself but take a peek again. Their faces are still close. Tyler's hands were on her boyfriend's neck, while his were possessively dangled across her tiny waist. I stared at the man who was lovingly looking at my best friend. I've been in love with Quentin Black secretly. He is the man of my dreams. He's an alpha prototype, smart and strong and dashing, but he only got his eyes on Tyler, the hot, intelligent queen bee of the Wolfgar Academy, where I'm also going. And so I've kept my love hidden for years. I can't confess even if I want to, because I'm too shy and I know I'll only be rejected in the end. I looked down weakly on the ground and slowly walked out of the area. I can't possibly disturb them, can I?
Freya.
With wide eyes, I turned my back to see both of them already behind me. Hey, I said and adjusted my thick glasses. I'm trying my best not to look at Quentin, who looks so effortlessly handsome in his typical outfit of black shirt inside a leather jacket.
What are you doing here?
Tyler asked and entwined her hand on my arms. Reluctantly, I glanced at Quentin before turning back to Tyler. I was looking for you. I held out a notebook to her. I need to give you the notes for the lecture this morning. You skipped the first class. She hugged me and then kissed my cheeks.
You're the best bestie in the world. I love you so much, Freya. You're such a good friend. Quint, babe, do you want to go with us to the canteen?
I looked at him expectantly, hoping he would say yes. It's been a while since we have been together. Our families are close because they are business partners. But for some reason, Quentin wouldn't warm up to me. I thought he's snobbish towards girls not until Tyler came in the picture and smitten him.
No, babe. I have classes this afternoon.
He pulled Tyler into his arms to kiss her lips. I immediately averted my eyes and tapped my feet.
I'll pick you up later for our dinner date. See you, babe. Freya.
He finally acknowledged me before running across the football field. I smiled shyly. It felt so good to hear him say my name. Quentin never looked my way, but it's okay. I will love him from afar in my own little ways. I love Tyler as my friend, so I won't do anything to hurt her. We both watched him bump his fist to his friends before proceeding to the cafeteria. Tyler, have you decided to marry Quentin? I inquired when we were already eating. She shook her head.
No, not yet. I'm actually confused, Freya. I can't choose among the three of them, so I'm taking my time.
She answered, referring to the other two brothers of Quentin, Scott and Lucian, who were both in love with her. Aren't you in love with Quentin?
Yes, I love him, but I also love Scott and Lucian. They are also my mates. It's possible that we could have multiple partners. It's difficult, but I could manage them. I could have them three for me, you know?
She confidently said and twirled the pasta in her fork.
I'm not wealthy like you, Freya, so I have to use my head. I was only admitted to this university because of a scholarship, so having wealthy boys by my side as my mates will ensure my survival.
I only nodded and didn't say anything anymore. Knowing her, she would never accept my advice. I just felt bad for Quentin, who sees Tyler as her one and only mate. This would probably hurt his candidacy as an alpha in the time to come. Mom, I'm home, Mom. I cried out when I barged into the front door of our mansion. Mom, I called again, but no one answered me. I'm baffled because my mother always waited for me in the living room every time I came home from school. I went upstairs directly to my room to see my mother searching through a pile of clothes in my closet. I kissed her cheek and sat down on my bed. Mom, what are you doing?
I'm looking through your wardrobe, and I can't find anything good for you. Where are the signature clothes I bought for you? How about the diamond jewelry? The bags and sandals your father gifted?
Scratching my head, I pointed at the small cardboard box on top of a cabinet.
Freya, clothes and shoes are supposed to be worn. They're not here just for display.
But I don't like wearing them. Besides, I don't think I look pretty in them. Mom, my mother eyed me and then sighed. She cupped my face and pinched my cheeks playfully.
My daughter, our princess, you are beautiful and these dresses will make you more beautiful. Okay, so get up and try wearing these.
She retrieved all the boxes where I store the luxury bags and set them on the floor. Are we going somewhere?
Yes, we are going to the Black family's house for a dinner meeting to discuss some important details.
My eyes widened. What are we going to do in Quentin Black's home? But why? Why do I have to go with you? She looked at me as if what I said was the most ludicrous thing she ever heard.
And why would you not go? You are our daughter and you are a McKenna. You should be there with us. Here, try this.
She handed me the Versus black dress. When? Tonight?
Yes, Freya. Tonight, so hurry up and get changed. We still have to mix and match your heels and bags. You should be absolutely perfect and pretty when we go there, my daughter. This night would definitely be special.
I am quite weirded out by the way my mother is acting, but I just let it slide. She likes to keep things to surprise others, so I just let her be. I don't have the motivation to go, especially when I know that Quentin will not be there. He'll fetch Tyler for their date.
I'll leave you here for a little while I get ready too. Please wear makeup, Freya.
Standing up, I closed the door and went back into the bed. I laid down instead of getting dressed. Meetings like this don't usually require our presence, and it's very rare that they are held in each other's houses. Something special must be really happening tonight, I thought. I changed into my usual get-up shirt, jeans, and sneakers. No need to glam up. I'm quite comfortable in these. Besides, this meeting won't be about me. The whole night they will only talk about business and business.
Freya, what are you wearing? Didn't I tell you to wear a dress?
Mom exclaimed, horrified when she saw me descending the steps.
You have to change. You must look good and take off your glasses. Use your contacts.
Grabbing my hand. She pulled me back into my room and forced me to sit on the vanity table. Mom, what is this really for? Can you please just tell me?
I told you we're going to a dinner meeting. It's a very important one, so you need to look extra presentable and pretty.
She answered while putting on the contacts for me. But I usually go there wearing these. And how important is it? And it's not like I am needed there. I could just stay here in the house.
Tonight is different, Freya. You are needed there. Now stop asking already. You're already at your marrying age and you're still acting like a child. Don't worry about anything, okay? We're just doing everything for your sake, my daughter. This meeting will seal your future, Freya.
But Mom, do I really have to go? She straightened her back, her hands folded on her back. This is her way of showing that her patience is running out.
When I say we are going, then we are going. Get your butt ready, Freya.
Okay, I softly agreed.
Now, darling, be a good daughter and wear this dress for Mama. This will make you the most beautiful girl in their eyes.
She picked up a red dress for me. With shoulders down, I nodded and started changing.
Where's Tyler? I thought you told me Scott is going to pick her in place of me, I asked Lucian, confused when I arrived at the restaurant and didn't see Tyler. Instead, Zane Hunter, an old friend of ours that we didn't quite see for a long time, sat there on the table with a serious expression on his face.
You could date her tomorrow or the day after. Call her to say something came up,
he answered, pulling me towards the table where Scott is already seated beside Zane. What? No, I'm calling her right now to tell her I'm coming to get her. But before I could pick up my phone from my pocket, Lucian was quicker to snatch it away from me.
Come on, Clint. We're here to help our old pal first. Seems like he's in the same situation as us.
He patted my head and jokingly elbowed my arm.
Don't worry. Scott already told Tyler your date for tonight will be rescheduled.
I nodded and eyed him suspiciously. Why do I have the feeling that you did this out of spite? Man, you sabotaged me. Scott better informed Tyler right away. I don't want her misunderstanding me. He flashed his wide grin.
You can ask him. Now, get your ass moving. I'm famished.
I had no choice but to go. Scott told me he already called Tyler. After the food was served, Zane began recounting his dilemma to us.
I have a friend, Isabella, who I believe is a mate of my other friend, Ethan, who is already bonded to someone else. They are all in my circle of friends, Isabella, Ethan, Enrica, Ethan's mate. I'm the first to notice their attraction towards another, and I don't want trouble to happen, considering they're my closest friends. Since I heard that the two of you shared the same mate with Quentin, I want to hear your opinion in this matter. Quent, what do you think?
I chewed the lamb meat and drank the wine first. Let me ask, you got a thing for this Isabella girl?
No!
He denied resoundingly.
Wow, that was fast.
Scott teased while busy scrolling on his phone.
You're lying?
I swear I don't have a thing for her. Now tell me, Quent, what do you think?
Having more than one mate is rare, but it is possible, just like in our case. It could be really difficult, especially when the other party involved doesn't want to compromise, but we can't do anything about this. The bond would ultimately draw us to them, no matter what we do, unless the female wolf decided to only accept one mate. Misunderstanding and miscommunication cannot be helped. For an instance, these motherfuckers just sabotaged my date with Tyler. Jealousy is inevitable, but we worked it out along the way. Another.
Hey, Quint.
He interrupted me to show me something on his phone.
Have you seen this?
What is it? I asked, taking up his phone to read the headline of an article in the business section of a popular online news site. Breaking news. Sources confirm to Daily Mag that Bachelor Quentin Black is engaged to be married to Freya McKenna. I was frozen for a second before I was able to react. I blinked thrice and read the article again, hoping I was just mistaken. But the words didn't change. It still displayed the same damn thing that I hoped I would never see without Tyler's name beside mine. When the situation finally settled in, it felt like my blood had been drained from my body and pooled into my head. I had the sudden urge to rush over to the kitchen to set the building on fire. I almost broke the phone in my hand had Scott been unable to seize it from me. My blood is boiling in anger.
You are what?
Lucian exclaimed after reading the article.
Freya McKenna, right? I remembered her. She's Tyler's best friend. What the fuck, man? You're marrying Tyler's best friend?
No, I'm not. I don't even know about this. I growled, and I won't marry her. She's not my mate. I won't marry anyone other than Tyler.
Hey, wait, what happened?
He whispered, and snagged the phone to take a look at it.
Sucks. This is Batman. I heard arranged marriages end disaster.
We all looked at Zane, realizing that it was our parents all along. Getting up, I stormed my way out of the place and into my sports car.
Quentin.
Lucian shouted and climbed inside the driver's seat.
I'm driving. You're not in your right mind now.
I resigned into the back seat with Scott beside me. Seething in anger, I repeatedly punched the passenger seat until it gave up. Fucking shit! I kept calling Tyler on the phone, but she's not picking up. Maybe she's busy doing her homework. I can't disturb her. My girl is diligent in her studies, so I leaned my head on the backrest, trying to process everything.
Tyler will be hurt.
Lucian spoke amidst the silence.
She loves you the most, Quint. It's actually a good thing. Quint's out. It will only be between you and me, Lucian.
Shut up, Scott. You're not helping. While on the way home, I can't help but recall her name again. Freya McKenna. An image of a simple girl appeared in my head, a common face during the dinner meetings. I also always see her with Tyler. How could I not know it? Of course it makes sense now. Our parents are business partners. Our families are close with each other, so maybe they thought Freya and I are a perfect match. But I love someone else, which happened to Freya's best friend, Tyler. I'll have no other bride other than her. She will always be the only one for me. But I swear, no wedding will happen. I'll make sure of it.
The second I set my foot inside the Blackman's carefully designed dining area, I knew then that something was wrong. The way Quentin's parents looked at me with admiration in their eyes while scanning my appearance made me more suspicious. I wore the red dress and heels Mom picked for me. I had some light makeup on my face. I also had my contacts on instead of my usual old-fashioned glasses. They must have liked my makeover so much, hence their reactions, but a different twinkle in their eyes told me something much deeper is going on. Charlotte Black stood up and welcomed me with open arms.
Freya, you looked so beautiful, my child.
A child? When did she ever call me one? I know she's such an affectionate mother to their children, but it's the first time she ever called me that way. Thank you, Mrs. Black, I said politely, returning her warm hug. Good evening, Mrs. Black, I greeted Quentin's father, who also hugged me before going to my parents to shake their hands.
Where is Quentin?
I heard my mother ask Mrs. Blackman when we're all seated on the table.
He's coming.
My forehead nodded in confusion. And why is she asking for Quentin? Why do we need his presence for a dinner meeting unless realization came like a crashing doom towards me? The thought practically nailed me to my place. No, it can't be. Are they planning to? I wasn't able to complete my thought when an angry Quentin stormed into the room carrying a magazine and threw it on the table, confirming the abominable decision. I gasped when I saw what's on the cover. It's me and Quentin, and the headline, "Oh God, we are getting married."
Mom, Dad, can you please explain to me what this is?
His chest was heaving in an uncontrolled fury. His face and neck were red in frustration.
We will handle this.
Charlotte assured my parents, who sat there, understanding in their eyes.
Quentin's son, what's written in that magazine is true. You are going to marry Freya.
She calmly said.
What? No, I'm not marrying Freya. I did not agree on this. How could you do this behind my back? You can't just meddle with my own personal life when you know I already have a mate. I love Tyler, and she is the only woman I am going to marry.
His words stung my heart that I can't help but to curl my fists into a ball to prevent my tears from forming. It's obvious that he doesn't like me. The thought of marrying me disgusted him. Am I really that ugly in his eyes?
Quinn, calm down.
His mother insisted.
Let's talk about this through.
Calm down. Mom, I can't just calm down when it's the future of my life that's at stake here.
You're right. It's your future that we needed to consider. That's why we decided to marry you off to Freya.
But how about what I want? My feelings. You did not consider that.
Quentin, I did not raise you to disrespect us in front of our guests. Behave yourself.
Mr. Blackman rose in his seat.
The families have agreed. You will do so in accordance with the agreement. I will not hear any of this. Go and have a seat.
No, I won't, Dad. I won't marry anyone other than Tyler. You can't make me. That's final, and no one can change my mind.
He walked out of the room in the same pace that he walked in, leaving us all in silence. Charlotte sighed while Mr. Blackman slowly went back to his seat. My father cleared his throat and drank water while Mom held my hands from under the table and squeezed them together.
It's okay, Freya. His reaction, it's only normal.
I know, Mom. I know. Of course I understand him. I bleed for him and my best friend, Tyler. I would be just as furious as him if I were in his position.
I'm sorry for that commotion you have to witness.
Charlotte apologized.
I think we can all agree that this is something we, his parents, need to push him more.
She turned to me.
Freya, don't worry. Quentin is just confused. We'll talk this out to him when he is calm enough to accept reason. I get that he's in love with Tyler, but she is not good enough for him. She's not a perfect match for him. I'm his mother, so I can see that.
I know Tyler isn't right for Quentin, given the number of situations where she has openly selfishly chosen other people and events than Quentin. She gently patted my hand and smiled reassuringly.
You, Freya, you are Quentin's perfect match. You are the only perfect bride for him. You two would be perfect together. Give him ample time to connect with you, please. I'm sure, given your personality, he will like you.
Am I really his perfect match? Will he really like me enough to agree to marry me, judging from his reaction earlier? My hunch was right, he will never like me. I thought I'm immune to being ignored by Quentin, but when he never for once bothered to glance at me, I felt ripped to pieces. That's how he strongly hated this engagement. I'm ashamed of myself because no matter how hard I refuse to admit that I don't want this wedding to happen, hope springs up from within me. My heart, who quietly yearned for him for years now, started beating erratically. Charlotte shifted in her seat and took out a planner.
Now, let's proceed to the planning for the engagement party next week, shall we?
But Charlotte, isn't it too soon? I think you have to talk to Quentin first before we proceed.
Mom objected.
He's right. We have to consider his feelings too.
The soonest they are formally engaged, the better. We'll talk to Quentin, and I'm sure he will understand.
Charlotte said, dismissing the worries.
All right, then let's begin.
Dad finally said, all throughout the evening. My mind is not functioning.
Let's tell them.
So with his arm around my shoulder, we went back into the house just in time to see my parents saying goodbye to the McKennas beside their car. I glanced at Freya, who looked down when she met my gaze. She is as distraught as me. I took a deep breath before I announced my decision. I'm agreeing to this marriage only because it is Grandma's last wish. Nothing more, nothing less. Their faces were jubilant as expected. Freya is definitely surprised to hear it with her mouth agape in shock. But let me be clear again that I'm only doing this because of Grandma. If I can have it my way, I will never agree to this. Freya's eyes drooped down to the ground. She hid her hands on her back and blinked hard as if to keep tears away. What tears? I wondered, my eyes never leaving her. Maybe in disappointment. Maybe she doesn't want this marriage too. She's pressured too by her family. Oh, how pitiful to be us right now. Coming to my side, Mom hugged and kissed my cheeks.
You've made the right choice, Quint. You and Freya will be perfect for each other. You will complement each one as husband and wife.
I turned to Freya, whose eyes are still plastered on the marble flooring. Not once did I notice her meet my eyes. She's always looking away, always wanting to be somewhere else when I'm around. Now this is what we call a disaster. This won't work. My apologies, Dad, Mom, Grandpa, Mr. and Mrs. McKenna, Freya, for how I behaved earlier.
It's okay, Quint. We understand you.
I nodded at them. Thank you, and good night, everyone. I turned my back nonchalantly and started heading to the garden.
Excuse me, everyone. I just need to talk to Quint.
I heard Freya say to our parents, but I did not pause to wait for her.
Quint, wait.
She called. That's when my phone rang. Seeing the name on the screen made me giddy in excitement and fear. I stopped and looked at her blankly. Excuse me. I'm sorry if you don't mind, but Tyler is calling. I need to take this.
Oh, of course. I'm sorry,
she said in a low voice. Just when I was about to push the answer button, Tyler dropped the call, so I dialed her number. After a few missed calls, she finally came up to the phone. Hey, babe, I'm sorry for not picking you up and canceling our dinner date. Something came up and...
I know.
She cut me off.
Scott told me.
I sighed and closed my eyes, hoping to find the courage to tell her about the situation. How could I tell the only woman I love that I am engaged to be married to another woman, not just any other woman, but her one and only best friend? It will devastate her. She'll think we are betraying her, which is technically what we're doing thanks to our parents. Tyler, babe, I have something to tell you.
Okay, go ahead. I'm all ears.
A long silence ensued between us before I heard her on the line again. I trailed off thinking I could just say it tomorrow, but prolonging something that will ultimately happen no matter what isn't my thing. I have to tell her what's happening. I owe her that as my mate. Tyler, my parents arranged for me to be married. She laughed on the phone.
Wow, babe. You're getting good at your pranks. That was a good one.
No, I'm telling the truth. I'm arranged to be married to your best friend, Freya McKenna, I said seriously.
Didn't you hear what Charlotte said? They'll talk to him. Don't worry, darling. Quent's a good boy and son. He'll do this for his parents and the family.
My mother's right. He will do it out of obligation, of fulfilling his grandma's last wish. Quent is not the type of man who backs out. I should be glad to know this, but the thought is heavier to bear. His duty to the family is the only thing that pushes him to do this. Well, what am I thinking? That he'll marry me because he likes me. That's just wishful thinking. Pretty drained because of overthinking things. I shut my mouth and didn't argue anymore.
Yes, it's done. Now give me a smile, Freya. Smile.
I am obliged. So I gave her one.
No, give me a natural smile. Don't tell me you'll smile like that later during the photo shoot.
I relaxed my face and smiled naturally.
There. You looked so pretty, my darling.
She glanced at her wristwatch.
You have to change into your evening gown. We're about to start. Excuse me.
I'm called to an attending woman on the terrace of the Blacks' mansion. Our engagement photo shoot will be held on their wide lawn.
Yes, ma'am.
Please take Freya to Quentin's room. She needs to change.
Yes, ma'am. Miss McKenna, this way, please.
Mom, I cried out, horrified, trying to mask both my worry and excitement. Excitement because I will be able to see Quentin's room, but worried as well that he'll take it as an invasion of privacy.
What?
But Mom?
Go now.
She pushed me to the attendant who's waiting, so I have no choice but to follow her.
Miss McKenna, this is Quentin's room. I'll just be here outside waiting for you.
Oh, okay. Thank you. With my heart on the pit of my stomach, I slowly entered his room. His large black bed is the first thing that greeted me. His room's design is very minimalistic, that matches his personality. I began undressing, quickly feeling a bit uncomfortable by my skimpy little black underwear that my ever-supportive mother bought for me, pacing up on time because he might walk in on me at any minute. I held up the hem of the gown ready to slip through my legs, but the door suddenly opened, revealing Quentin in front of it. Mortified, my eyes widened when he entered and saw me in the middle of his room, by the side of the bed with almost nothing on. No one was able to utter a word or make a move. He just stood there looking at me while my hands froze in the air. Our eyes met, and I wished at that moment that the ground would open and swallow me up. I saw him gulp while his eyes roamed around my body, his sight particularly landing on my bosom, half exposed by my lacy.